with good reason.
Well, firstly, I'd like to apologise for the absence of Ms. Fevens, who is dramatically ill this morning. So I managed to cajole somebody else, Shari Surratt, our treasurer, etc., to come and join me. Sorry, Madam Secretary. We are here, as we are annually, cap in hand. We have submitted the application to yourselves. As usual, now that it's slightly earlier that the application comes in, than the December figures are not actuals as yet. The past 12 months have been quite literally incredible for the ARC with the productions that we've had on. We saw the return of Mark Palmer to our fold, who put on Annie, which was only the first evening wasn't a sellout, and the rest of it sold out the following day, which has been a wonderful thing to have the sold out sign a week in advance. Sandy put together Chicago. We initially thought wooden adult musical work in the Yarmouth area, sellouts every night. We're trying to diversify as much as we can. Myself, I've been involved with bringing the other art groups together to try and get us all back under one roof. Very recently, we tasked Dan Earl, who's a member of our board, with outreach. The meeting we had last week, the work that he's done on that is absolutely fantastic. You should find that the entire arts community are back under one umbrella within the next 12 months. We're looking at making it so that everybody is the Yarmouth Arts Regional Council, whereas we had all of these factioned groups before. You've probably seen this, such as the Craft Guild.
Oh, I have. I'm just
wondering how. By listening. I was told a story that in 1978 we broke somebody's plate at one of the functions, and that group of people haven't spoken to us since.
Not surprising.
Yes. So these are the kind of things that we've been dealing with. And basically what we've said is, let's forget about everything from the past. Let's all get back together again. And it's working.
That will make a tremendous difference.
Absolutely.
In the entire community. Big difference.
We were lucky enough to meet with Heritage and Cultures last week for an off-the-record chat, as it were. Good morning, sir. We were informed that were we to decide to look at a new building again, that they would help with funding, and they believed that federal funding would be available for us. And of course the question of location came up. Our answer was very, very simple. You tell us where you want it, we'll put it there. I told you that last year, and we stand by that. Last Thursday we have tasked the new building committee to start up again, and beginning of April we're going to have the first meeting on that. We are open to all suggestions. It is that simple. In fact, as a sort of side view to that, Heritage and Culture sort of said, we'd kind of rather you weren't where you are right now, but I'm not saying that officially. So read into that as you will. We would be happy to go anywhere, just as long as we have a new facility, and a facility that's open to all members of the arts. We don't just want to be known as a theatre, we want to be the Arts Council again. And we're concentrating over the next 12 months a lot more on governance than we have in the past, and we're also looking to employ a new member of the team to assist Sandy. We haven't quite decided whether it'll be sort of artistic director or centre manager as such. It's going to be one of the two to take some of the strain off Sandy. She's on average putting in 60 to 80 hours a week. That's a lot of strain to put on that little lady. So we just like money, please. Less than we asked for last year, I hasten to add.
Good. Any questions? Go ahead.
Just to comment, Your Worship, and again to Neil and Sherry, you know, the amount that you're asking for is, in my opinion, probably one of the best investments that we can make. You guys, we have a tendency, when I look at the huge amount of money that we put into physical activity, physically active lifestyles, which is a very good thing, we do have a segment of our community or worship who may not be able to do those things, or for other reasons wish to express themselves in another form. And the Ark is a gem in Yarmouth. I've said that all my life, and I think it's a wonderful facility, and it gives an outlet for many of our amateur actors and even professionals to come into the area. So I would really urge my colleagues to be very generous with them. It's money well spent. When I look at the amount of money that they generate and the investment that they put in time and hours, the $343,000 budget does not reflect the hundreds of thousands of dollars in volunteer hours that goes into that facility. In many cases, we have proposals before us where there are salaries, et cetera, of individuals that are involved. Here we have a totally volunteer organization with one overworked executive director. So kudos to the Ark for doing what you're doing. So you have my full support, as you always have. So thank you very much for coming. And I'm sorry I'm a little late, but I had a little errand I had to run.
And just to mention as well regarding the outreach, just something that Daniel has also been doing for us. He actually goes into areas where there are people with special needs and teaches to paint. And we've actually started looking at tasking him with going around to some of our more senior communities, which of course we are becoming a haven for seniors. That's been terrible for my business, of course. And we'd like Dan to carry on with that outreach, engaging more members of the population than we have in the past.
Good. Thank you. Go ahead.
Not to drag this over one more note, just to mention the Meadows, which Councillor Mooney and Councillor McIsaac and I both serve on that board, is a very active recreation department, and they would love to, I know, welcome you guys with open arms. There's 100 and, Phil, correct me, 120 residents in there, I think, roughly, and many of them would love that. A lot of groups do come in, and I think that'd be a wonderful outreach for you.
We would love to.
Any more questions? Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. And I have your membership forms here as well.
As a side note, Mary Walsh is coming in April.
Mary Wall? Hello.
April 20th.
I'll be there.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thanks for coming in. Ha.
Okay, Mafia.
YMCA, welcome. You just want to let us know who you are and it's streaming. We're live streaming.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Yvonne Smith, and I have had the pleasure of meeting most of you, but to those who I haven't, I am the CEO for the YMCA of Yarmouth, and I'm here today with Melanie Mooney, who is the Vice Chair of our Board of Directors. So she's actually going to lead us off with a bit of a presentation. I'll then summarize, but also then be available for questions. So I'll turn it over to Melanie.
Thanks, Yvonne. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Melanie Mooney, as Yvonne said, and I am the Vice Chair of the Board of Directors for the YMCA of Yarmouth. I also work in Southwest Nova District Health Authority as the Director of Primary Health Care, and I live in the town of Yarmouth. I have a Y family membership, and I also have 3 young children, all of which take swim lessons at the Y. So I am pleased to be able to tell you about the Y, because the Y means a lot to me, and there's been a lot of activity over the Y over the past year, and for the past year, over 725 children learned to swim in the pool. 320 children learned to swim through the school swim program, and more than 348 parents and tots enjoyed time together in the pool. And our free swims allowed up to 100 children a week to swim for free. So clearly, the Y has provided a much needed service in the community to have a community pool available for all. The Y also provides programs tailored for older adults. So there's a positive aging program that offers gentle physical activity. And this is very important, as you know, for maintaining independence and well-being as people age. And since the program started in 2012, there's been over 95 people participate, and that number is growing. In addition, senior membership grew by 21% last year, And we had 208 senior day pass visits. So seniors are recognizing the Y as a place for health and wellness. The Y has an average of 40 fitness classes and 16 lane swims every week, and they have a fully equipped fitness center. Supporting the health and wellness of youth is a priority for the Y, and just recently we partnered with the Recreation Department to provide indoor soccer. Regular activities for youth are offered through a youth activity room, community swims, and a Friday fun night. So as you can see, there's something for everyone at the Y. The entire board met in November to develop a new strategic plan. We have revised our mission and our vision. Our vision is that our YMCA will be recognized as a valued leader and partner at the center of a safe and healthy community, inspiring people to reach their full potential. Our strategic directions include expanding our reach through partnerships with diverse groups, including the Recreation Department, schools, the Health Authority, local business, and many others to enhance the health and wellness of our community. The community connections that have been outlined and more are available in the year in review report, which was provided to you. Our strategic plan also includes financial development to increase revenue streams. We work closely with the national programs through the YMCA to ensure our programs and services meet national standards. This includes things like staff and membership surveys, ensuring children are safe in our facility, and monitoring indicators of sustainability. Our plan closely aligns with the national directions and is mindful of the needs of our community. We offer a valuable service to the community that would not be possible without the contribution of the town of Yarmouth and many others. Personally, I view the Y as an integral part of our community, open to all, enriching the development of people in body, mind, and spirit, which is, of course, part of the vision and mission of the YMCA. So I would open it up for questions. Yvonne, do you want to add to what I've said?
Yeah, I would just summarize by saying, and Melanie has said it extremely well, the YMCA is a partnership between volunteers and staff, and we are continually looking for ways to expand and to grow our partnerships. We know that is integral to the sustainability of a community, especially a community such as Yarmouth, and we are committed, fully committed, to finding every opportunity we can to work together, because we do believe that that will be the success of not only the Y, but of the community as a whole.
Thank you. Councillor McIsaac?
Thank you, Your Worship. My question is for the CAO. Jeff, I'm looking at this paper here that we have in front of us, and there's a YMCA not out of $70,000. What does that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, for as long as I've been here, and longer than that, the YMCA's grant allocation has come from a separate line item in our operating budget, and we have provided for operating grants for other organizations up to $80,000 has been our amount the last few years. So this presentation is for your consideration for that line item as opposed to out of that fund, if we are to follow, I'll say, tradition.
Okay, thank you. That's
Good.
Didn't hear that. I think my question was going to be almost on the same line as Councillor McIsaac, is about, what was the number last year, Jeff?
I don't have it in front of me what the number was last year.
But it wasn't it wasn't the $59,000 what the request being this year, right?
It would be very close to that.
Was it close to that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we could have that number before.
That was the number? Yeah, okay.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
just to clarify, yes, it was the same. So we have requested the same amount as per last
Okay.
year. And that
Okay.
number is derived from, we also request from the municipality of Yarmouth as well as the municipality
Yeah.
of Argyle. So it's based on a percentage when we look at where our members come from.
Okay, good,
So it's the same number.
good. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, Councillor.
Just a question for CAO again. If I remember exactly, centuries ago when I was on the Y board, there was some funding issues, and it seems to me there was kind of a committee put together of the CAOs or whatever to try to get the YMCA more sustainable, if I'm remembering exactly. I'm just wondering, not for today, but I would like to have an update on where we're at on that one later on before we put our budget numbers in, because I thought we were moving them towards more solid ground.
Well, Your worship, if I may.
Yeah, go
Yeah, the purpose of the committee wasn't to make the Y more sustainable. The Y has to manage their own affairs. The purpose of the committee was that we looked at the situation that at the time was getting worse. They needed more money from the municipalities, and so we took a look at their financial position and trends related to that. But we didn't have the mandate, don't have the mandate to manage the YMCA or to dictate to them what their financial practices ought to be.
Just a secondary then, okay, good. So question, is that group still monitoring the YMCA?
Not as a group, no. Yvonne has been available and accommodating in terms of meeting with us as often as we'd like to look at the financial statements and talk about what's going on with the Y. I haven't met with her for a while now, but I was meeting with her fairly regularly. The other CAOs, I think, perhaps less regularly.
Yeah, I think, if I may?
Yeah.
Should I now? We have, and always will continue to have, very transparent and open communication with the CAOs. So we do invite them to regular meetings, and it is based on their availability and their needs. So I do provide the financial information, and then if we feel that there's things that we do need to discuss, we have. It has been less of a group and more individual, but that it has worked well. I would just like to point out a couple points about our financials at this stage. So I am pleased to say that for 2014, as the year is wrapping up, it looks, and again, it's not, we haven't done our full audit, but it does look as though we will not be in a deficit position for the first time in a while. Before depreciation, there's still a lot of depreciation on that building, but prior to depreciation. So we've been working very hard at looking to control our expenses and, of course, to generate revenue, but also we've made some changes. So currently we are in a new partnership for shared CFO services. So we are actually doing a bit of an overhaul on our financial department, and I use the department loosely as we have an individual, but we are doing an overhaul there and looking at finding, again, systems and ways to control things in a more refined manner. So that's working very well, and we are seeing, as I said, 2014 is looking more positive. Of course, that still includes the contribution from the municipal units, which will always really be there. And I'd also just like to stress that this is not unique to Yarmouth. This is really very common and across YMCAs that serve rural communities. The reality is the demographics and the region that we serve, the service we provide is when we look at the pool. A pool is extremely costly, as you would all know, to run. So typically, $250,000 to $350,000 is the dollar figure that's often tossed around to run a pool. With the market that we serve, it is just very difficult for us to do it on our own. So these partnerships, again, very common in almost all of rural YMCAs.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
That's good news, the
Yes.
budget thing, yeah.
Yes, we do feel that there has been a positive shift in some attitudes, which certainly does make a difference, and we've seen a very successful lottery this year, which is great. We're happy about that, and we're going to continue with that and continue to grow and work to serve our community.
Excellent.
There's still some big prizes out there. It could happen.
I buy it every year.
That's actually
I keep saying I'm not going to buy it.
someone just won this week, and he said he's bought for, I think it was 13 or 15 years, and this was the first time that they won, and yes, they were very excited.
Although my sister, she won 50,000.
Yeah? Well, that's
Nice,
exciting.
there you go.
That's very exciting. Well, maybe she'll share. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you very
We appreciate
much.
your time, and we appreciate your
Thanks,
ongoing
Melanie.
support.
You, Linda.
Pardon?
Love ya. You don't need this, you're good?
First prize.
Okay. Yeah.
With June, with the kids at the YMCA.
Seafest.
Morning, Your Worship and Council.
Good morning, Dawn.
Thank you for your support last year and for the other years previous. You can see that our budget is higher this year. Our ask is higher. I've had a lot of people wanting entertainment throughout the 11-day festival at night, which we haven't done. So of course, to pay the bands, to pay Larry, we're also looking at doing plays through the ARC Mini Touring Company through Jeremy Watkins, which was a great success last year. And we have some other new things that are going to be happening. So, questions for you now.
No questions from me. Anybody have questions for CFES? Go ahead, Councillor.
Noticed on your budget, Don, you have an unrecoverable HST amount of 1,900 and change. I never saw that before. What would be an unrecoverable HST?
Do you know from Warner? I'd have to ask Warner.
Okay, good. I was just curious about that.
We have our AGM this coming Thursday night, 6 o'clock at the Grant. So if anybody wants to come, and Warner will be there, so you can get that information. But I can find out and send you an email too.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want, send us an email.
I'll send you an email. I can send it to you. You can send it to the rest.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Like I usually do, I've submitted application to Heritage Canada. I'm going to the municipality. I will again to the municipality of Argyle. That never gives us anything. And I'm trying to get some money from the provincial heritage. I was at that meeting at the museum there. And it's not really a grant from what they tell us. It's an investment into your community. It's not a grant. So, which I like that better. I believe Mr. Langell was there. He heard that comment too, and I think it was a really good thing.
And just to mention, Don, on that, whether you caught it, you mentioned your evening entertainment. There is money available. All they have to do is the band applies.
Okay.
They apply. So you don't apply, but the actual band would. So if you've got 3 or 4 groups who are Nova Scotia groups and they want to perform, they identify the date, they put the application in, and they will provide the funding for the band.
So would they have to be Nova Scotia known bands, not like our local?
Yeah, we are local bands. Yeah, it's local. It's for that, and that's a real big saver. A lot of people don't realize that dollars are there. So and that actually is a way to get extra money in the pocket of some of our local musicians. So I mean, you could put an application where you have a week-long event. You can put in for 3 or 4 bands individually would apply to that fund. But you guys could probably guide them through the process. The applications are there, and it's a very simple application. And that fund is very underutilized.
Yeah,
so
that's what they were saying.
yeah, so that's a good opportunity for you guys to pick up some change and.
Yep.
Good. Well, thank you. That was
Okay.
easy.
Yep, usually is. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
Friends of Yarmouth Light. Happy 175th.
Yes, good morning. As of the early December, I'm the new president. And we're celebrating 175 years of a lighthouse at Cape Shining from Cape Fichu. And Gert is the head of the 175 committee, so I'm turning everything over for her to do the talking.
Welcome.
Good morning, Mayor Moody, councillors. Thank you for this opportunity to come in and speak to you folks this morning. We did present a budget application for this year because it's so special to us celebrating that 175th. There is a few items that we don't feel that we can cover at this time because we work so hard to maintain just the daily operations, the staffing, and the bills that come in from that area. So we had requested a budget amount, and that budget amount is to help us with display cases for the museum, some display boards that we need to put things on, some of the small expenses that go along with event expenses. And this year we're hosting 16 weeks of events at the Light, and there's a different theme for each week. During that time we have some presenters coming in to do various things. We also have an increase in promotional or advertising needs because there's some design setups, layouts, and certainly we want some materials that's printed and available at the Tourist Bureau, other businesses here in town. and just to hand out to people so that they know what those events are. And yes, we are using social media, Facebook, newspaper, radio, all those things, but we just feel that this being an anniversary year, we need that little added boost. Certainly with the ferry, we did see an increase of visitors again back at the light. Those are visitors from afar. What's really nice to see as the local people support the lighthouse, and I think it's because we've always recognized it as perhaps the icon of Yarmouth. And even though it's officially the Cape Frishew Lighthouse, it is Friends of the Yarmouth Light that support that effort. We've worked really hard over the last 18 years to promote the history, maintain that site, fight and get it from the government, and we hope to remain there in the future for many years to still promote those things, to make the people of Yarmouth very proud of what we do have. So we would hope that you would review our application, and if availability arises, perhaps send some funds our way. If you have any questions.
It's a statement. It's a gold mine out there. And not just, I guess you know how I feel about it. And on the cover of the Doers and Dreamers. And anyway, it was $1 million gift. So I really hope that that the 175th does everything it can. It really is. It outshines Peggy's Cove tenfold, but we're just not doing it. We're just not doing it. So we need to really up the ante. And you're right, it may be Cape Frishew, but it's Yarmouth. That's who we are.
I think it's a perfect opportunity this year because we are celebrating that 175th that we can use promotion and really get more people involved. And 175 only rolls around once.
It does.
Bless you, Jim McLeod. He said 2 or 3 of them.
Thank you, Your Worship. Looking at your financials, every year I look at this, and I've been around this table too long, and I'm just mesmerized by the fact that you guys are running that thing on nickels and dimes. And I've said around this table, Your Worship, I really, really, really think it's time for both municipal units to get together and develop a financial plan for that facility. We should be contributing very generously to that facility. It's an icon, there's no question. You made the analogy, Your Worship, of a gold mine. Unfortunately, all I'm seeing is a shaft. There's no mine there. There's gold down there, but there's a shaft, you know, and we've got to build the mine. And we've got to be able to, basically, we've got to build the mine and we've got to put the supports in place to harvest the gold. But right now, you guys, it's amazing. I look at this budget, $86,000. God love you, the volunteer hours you're putting into that thing is phenomenal. I mean, it doesn't even count that. It's like the ARC who we had earlier. And I really think we need a dialogue, a serious dialogue. The CAOs should sit down and say, listen, that is our major tourist icon. That is the recognizable symbol of this community from a tourism point of view. And I know we had a discussion here at Committee of the Whole on Thursday that tourism isn't the end-all be-all for Yarmouth. I think it is a major contribution. It's the first thing that people on that boat see coming into Nova Scotia is that light, that very unique light. And I'm amazed that you guys are keeping that going on $86,000 a year. And if you take out the money it costs you to run that little restaurant, and the money I think you made $3 on the restaurant. I mean, you're providing a service there, let alone anything. So you take that out, you're really running that whole facility on probably less than $50,000, of which we as units are only giving you less than half of that, roughly. So we really got to ante up on that. So I want to thank you, and God bless you. You've done one heck of a job, and you got my full support.
It's also getting harder and harder every year to get volunteers. People work, and husbands and wives both work. They have family, they have children, and they still contribute a certain number of hours. I'm an old lady, I retired. I can pretty well go down there whenever I feel like it, but there's a lot of people that come down and they're dedicated. I mean, here's Gert busy working with the family, and she's there, and Rowan's here.
So we don't,
It's very, very hard to get
Yeah, it
people
is.
to do volunteers. They'll give you $5, but they
Yeah.
won't give you an hour.
give you time. So we don't want to scare you, because we didn't say last week that tourism wasn't the be-all and the end-all. We just said that when we brand, we're not just branding for tourism. That was just, yeah, I can't, because it is. It's a huge, huge industry. So yeah, and I agree with the counselor. I'd actually,
I have
spoken
three
to the ward-
vacancies on the board right now.
yeah.
So that's how it's hard to get
It's hard.
volunteers.
Yeah, but I did speak to the warden. We had just an initial conversation about our part that we need to play. So we'll just open those conversations more, and it's going to be a great year, a great year.
Great, thanks for the
Yeah.
opportunity.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Firefighters Museum. Welcome. Thank you. Just step right up to the microphone. We're live streaming, so you can let us know who you are, although we know.
Okay, Dave Darby, I'm the director at the Firefighters Museum. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to come today. Thank you for your past support. It's greatly appreciated, believe me. If I will, I'll give you just a quick brief of how our attendance was last year. Overall, we had a 10% increase from last year's totals. 4% of that, which was quite disappointing for us, was U.S. visitors. Another 3% increase was from Ontario. And the one we were most proud of, the 3% increase, was from our local people here in town, so we were happy about that one. The increase from Ontario, we're not sure how many came across on the ferry. We're not sure. We don't collect that information. We just collect what the town and the cities they're from. So hopefully this year will be a little bit better for U.S. visitors. We did have a good year. Increase is better than a decrease, which we did suffer for the last 4 years. So that's on a positive note. As far as next year, I think like everybody else right now, we're waiting for scheduling before we can make our permanent plans, but it looks like we will be staying open. If everything stays status quo, we're close to it, we'll be staying open a little bit later in the evening and giving up that hour earlier in the morning. So we think that might benefit. And because of the increase of last year over locals, we are planning a lot of local activities and different programs for the year. So that's where we stand.
Excellent. Any questions? Anyone? No? Good. That was easy.
Well, great.
Thank
Again,
you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Operation Catnip. Virginia, you just surprised me.
I'm here in place of Frida, who is in Barbados. Yeah, I know. Anyway, I was happy to say that I would be here for Operation Catnip. I was one of the founding members on the board, and I rejoined the board recently. We've been in operation for about for 3 years. We're asking for financial assistance, of course. $2,500 is what we would like to have. I think you realize that our main purpose is to help low-income families who are cat owners have their pets spayed or neutered at low or zero cost to them. And the cat population is a big problem in the municipality and in the town, as I think everyone's aware. So Catnip exists to just help deal with that problem by spaying and making it possible to spay and neuter animals. We've been able to help about 100 cats per year. Last year was 95, and we are hoping that this coming year, 2015, we would be able to spay or neuter 150 cats. So we want to increase the value of what we do. We have a budget of $22,000, and most of that is spent on veterinaries' fees, sometimes helping people get to the vet. We do cover sometimes taxi costs. I think we do very good work on a very limited budget. Our funds come from municipal grants and from, of course, the fees that people are paying, and from other donations. Donations are very important to us, and from memberships. I have brought, I'll just leave them here, a copy of the latest newsletter that Frida has done, which gives a small summary of what we're doing and the importance of fundraising in maintaining what we're able to do. Oh, thank you. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. I would say 71% of the animals that we treat do come from the town of Yarmouth, so the town is people in the town are our major market.
So do people come to you, or do you
Yes.
go?
No, what we don't want to over publicize what we do because we have limited funds.
Okay.
However, we try to reach the people who are most in need. There's a regular ad in the Vanguard, for example, that gives a telephone number and contact and explains what we do. We leave pamphlets and so on at Parents' Place, at other outlets, particularly in South End Yarmouth. And so we try to let people know what we do. And the fundraisers attract a lot of attention too. The spaghetti dinner that we do gets a lot of publicity.
It does, yeah.
The drugstores certainly carry our literature. It's good. I think the word is getting out to the people who need us. And there are pamphlets and information at the veterinary's offices.
Okay. I guess there's a cat problem. And I've been getting it the last month. I don't know what it is, emails and Facebook messages and everything about the cat problem, which I knew, but I just didn't.
Yeah, and it's
I'm
growing.
trying to figure out who does what, like who just grabs the strays and does something with them.
And people
I guess.
do try, and we do help, particularly women who are feeding feral animals, who know that there's a cat colony, or
Yes.
people have just left their cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. What's it cost to spay or neuter, and you're not getting? Are you getting a break out there?
The spay or neuter, the female spays cost on average about $160, and the male neuters are about $75.
Okay.
That doesn't mean we're still not going to support you here, do we?
Okay, thanks, Virginia.
Well, you're welcome.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Rugbies. Who does rugbies?
Oh, that's me.
Oh, sorry.
All kinds of hats.
I know, so does Virginia. Every time she comes, she's got a different hat on. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's $10, isn't it? It's $10, yeah. So the 20 is for he and Phil. But he'll get it. He's just filling it out now. Here's another one, Virginia. It's another one, too. He's going to get the money. Yeah, well, the $20 is these two. $10 each. Thank you.
Thank you for all your hard work.
I'd love. Okay,
Okay,
rugbies.
okay, my name's Elaine Howard. I've been here before. I'm not going to repeat what's in the application, but if anyone has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. What I'm going to do is just highlight some of the activities in the upcoming year, because we're very involved in the community to promote our craft, I guess, for lack of a better word. I think everybody knows what rug hooking is. It's hanging in the front lobby. So the highlights upcoming in 2015 kind of demonstrate our involvement in the community. So we're going to partner with the Art Society in a project called the Marsh Sweet Project, and the exhibit will be this summer at the Yarmouth County Museum. In February, we have a hook-in for our members. In March, we're having a workshop for our members. In June, we'll have the Spring Fling, which could be close to 200 people attending an annual daily event, which we get people from outlying areas, pretty much this side of Halifax for the most part. From May to October, we're going to be meeting at the Yarmouth County Museum. This is a new initiative. and I'm really excited about it because it's an opportunity for us to demonstrate in public at the museum. So we will be able to interact with, visitors and tourists and that type of thing. So it's kind of like I call it a living museum, the fact that we're able to demonstrate there from May to October. We'll also participate in the Seafest by demonstrating. We participate in the Yarmouth County exhibition. We have a booth. We have a lighthouse exhibit at the moment, and it's traveling the province, and it will be exhibited at the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia this summer. We also plan to participate in the 175th anniversary of the Yarmouth Light. We've been invited to hook over at the Yarmouth Light.
Good.
Then there's Crafts Splash, which is in the fall, and the rug hookers demonstrate from Clare around to Pubnico. So that is, I think, a 4 or 5 day event. And we partner with Pubnico, Clare, Port Maitland. We visit out to the Pubnicos in the fall as well, out at the Village. Last year we went on the Nova Star for the first time.
Is that going to happen again, Elaine, do you think, this year?
Well, we're hoping it's going to happen. It was a lot of fun. We had about a dozen people, so we would like to expand on that as an annual event. And then we also have an annual exhibit at the Yarmouth County Museum each year, and that's in November, end of November, December, January. And that's just about a dozen of activities that are upcoming for the year. Plus, we meet on a weekly basis. There's 2 groups meet weekly. And I would just like to say one of the highlights of 2014 was our participation in the MOD project. That was a lot of fun. The funding for that didn't come from the actual rug hooking group bank account. The funding came from individuals. We participated individually as a group, but the money was individual.
Good.
Anyway, I don't know, are there any questions?
No, good, that's great. Thank you for coming in.
Oh, I guess I'm supposed to say we're asking for $200 in assistance. Well, thank you very much. It really helps us to support our programs and activities in the community.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks. I'm here next.
Yarmouth, VON Tri-County. Step right up and introduce yourself.
Hi, good morning, Your Worship, councillors. I'm Derek Babin, Manager of Community Support Services for VON Tri-County. Most know VON to be a nursing organization, and so you should. It's primarily what we do. However, we have a stream of programs and services that are non-nursing. They're called community support programs. Those are the programs that I manage, and those are the programs that I want to showcase today. So if it's okay, I have an 8-minute video that I'd like to show you that really highlights community support programs that our organization can offer, or that does offer. In this little video, you're going to see 2 programs, and both of those programs, though they were not filmed here, thanks, Jeff, they are programs that we offer here. So one will be an adult day program, which we do offer in the town of Yarmouth. The other one is called SMART, Seniors Maintaining Active Roles Together. It's an in-home exercise program, which we hope to pilot this year. So you're going to see those 2 programs showcased in this little video.
Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you. I'm looking at your paper here, and it doesn't show any budget.
There should be a budget.
There's a
Yep,
budget,
towards the end there.
unless I'm missing something here. A financial report, it should say.
Are you seeing that?
Oh, there it is there.
Yep, towards the end, towards
Yeah.
the back.
I
Yep.
apologize for that.
No, not at all.
I didn't look close enough.
Yeah, that's okay, not at all, thank you. Yep, so we can hit play there. Thanks, Jeff. I'm just not sure about volume, how we manage that.
To care for yourself at home. Imagine a loved one stricken by cancer who wants to die such as diabetes are on the rise. Our population is getting older, and families are pressured to absorb more responsibilities in caring for loved ones. People are dying alone in hospitals and long-term care institutions instead of being at home with family, friends, and neighbors to comfort them during their final days. Fortunately, VON, the Victorian Order of Nurses, is there to care for Canadians in their time of greatest need. VON was founded in 1897 to provide health care to rural communities without practitioners. From these humble beginnings, VON became a part of the fabric of Canada's healthcare system, providing visiting nursing, home care, and community support services to many generations. Today, VON is the country's largest home and community care provider, serving more than 1 million people every year through a network of 16,000 staff and volunteers in over 1,300 communities from coast to coast.
Martin suffers from Alzheimer's, and the VON has been just a godsend. I didn't know in the past just to what capacity they could help people. I'd heard about the VON, but until it became a personal thing, I just can't begin to express how much I appreciate their existence. In the fridge. It's in the fridge, dear. The fridge. Right over there, love. It's hard for me to even understand the kind of loss that he lives every day. But socially, his friends basically just stopped coming because I guess they didn't know how to talk to him or felt uncomfortable. And so what this has done is it's provided him with a whole new network of friends. And he loves them dearly, and it's wonderful for him to have his stories that he tells at the end of the day.
I mean, they laugh all the time. Everyone laughs. In other places, it's not like that. But here, it's very good. It's a good place to be.
If the VON wasn't available, I don't know what I'd do. Gosh. I don't know. I have a limited family network. I guess I would have to quit my job or something, but that just is out of the question if I want to survive and keep my family going.
They want to help everyone, because that's really what they do.
And he just loves going, and he looks forward to it. He asks me every day, this is the day I get to see his friends, and he has particular good friends. There's a picture over there of him at the Thanksgiving gathering with his best friend, Gubin, and he adores him. So it's given him a reason to get up in the morning and a place to go that he loves going. It's really changed him, made him happier.
I'm 93, and I don't get around as good as I should. And I enjoy all the help I can get, but I like to have freedom of my own home.
When we visit with them, it just kind of brightens their day. It brings a bit of sunshine into their life, and also for the visiting volunteers, it really sparks our life up too. You know, you come and you talk to them for an hour and just have a little visit and just chat about things, about the day's events or whatever, and we always feel good when we leave.
Like Maureen volunteered. She was a volunteer visitor for my wife for several years before she passed away, and she's still been good to me. Like she and her husband have taken me different places. We've been out of a few times to dinner, and I have a brother in the nursing home. He's 98, and they take me up to see him.
A lot of seniors don't have family in this area, so you do become like family with them.
I've only been on the exercise program for a couple of weeks now, but I feel that it will help more as I go through for more time. And she goes through it with me. It shows me each movement, and I follow her example to try to do it right.
Any money that's given to the VON is definitely used very wisely.
They're in great need, and your money goes a long way, and you can see it working.
We never know when we're going to be the ones that are going to have to draw on this service. People are always very grateful for what the VON has done for them.
It supports programs that have changed our lives.
VON is in big demand.
They care about everyone.
They don't look for anything in return.
Anybody should make a donation to them.
VON Care allows people to live independently in their own homes and communities with dignity during the most challenging health conditions or even at the end of life. But we need your help. Your support allows us to reach out to more Canadians. Please give generously. Visit our website at www.givetovon.ca or call 1-888-VON-CARE. That's 1-888-866-2273.
So they say a picture says 1,000 words. I'm not sure about a video, but I felt that the video could really showcase our programs probably better than I could speak to them. Thanks again, Jeff, for that. And again, the funding that we're requesting today has nothing really to do with our nursing programs. Those programs, we're contracted by Department of Health and Wellness to provide nursing services in the home. However, these programs that were showcased today, we are not funded by the Department of Health and Wellness to provide those levels of programs and services. So we rely heavily on grants and donations, fundraising events in our community, so that we can be able to provide that level of care to people in our community. It's a privilege and an honor, really, to be able to work with people who so appreciate that service and are so much in need. When you think about an adult day program, and I'll just speak very briefly about that because I know my time is, I'm pushing towards the end of my time, but you know, when you want to stay in your home and your family wants you to be in your home, but you're not able to stay in your home safely on your own, to have a program where your loved one can go to interact with other people so that you then can do the things that you need to do, those programs really, I say, are essential in our community. We know our population is aging. There's a great demand for these programs. Sadly, we have people on a waiting list, and that's only because we're bound by resources. It's the only reason why we have people on a wait list. And I think those services are going to be more and more needed in the future as our population ages. So thanks for past grants to our organization, and certainly would entertain any questions that you might have concerning the community support programs.
Thank you, Derek. I think the VON speaks for itself.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Your
Thank you for
Worship.
coming in.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Yarmouth Craft Guild. Yeah. Welcome.
Hi there. I'm Frances Morris, and I'm representing the Craft Guild today in our application for funding of $250 for the Yarmouth and Acadian Choice Craft Splash. Elaine will pass you out our brochure. It's one of the things we produce every year.
Thank you.
Schedule of events. This year, the Craft Splash will be from September 23rd to much loved by people who attended. And all in all, the craft splash gives, lets people see what crafts are being done, what can be done, and encourages them to participate and take part in crafts. That's basically what I have to say about it, and many of you may be familiar with aspects of it, but do you have any questions?
Any questions? Good? We're good. Thank you very much for coming in.
Our president was supposed to be with us, but anyway, she wasn't able to be here. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Carpetbaggers. Hello, Shirley.
I'm a hawker. Thank you. You didn't come to my 80th birthday party. I really can't add much to the document that I gave to you, and I know you all have that in front of you. I might add that each year we have extra rug hookers added to our group, and normally I'm the one who does a beginner's course, and I have one now ready to go, or almost ready to go, in February, and people just call that they're interested in rug hooking. And it seems to be a very interesting craft, particularly for people who are retired, and particularly it's a real soothing activity for people who are elderly. And we have many of those, as your document shows you. We have one lady who's 93 now. We have several who are 90, and they always have a birthday party with a cake at our gathering. And many of them never miss a week because they see that as such a social outing and accomplishing something very, very beautiful, and something that they share with, as we share around the room. And they are great gifts for many of the families of these people. If there are any questions, I would be pleased to answer them. We don't have any in our group at the present time, but I have taught them. We have one in town that's a very good rug hooker, but and way back in the early days of Carpetbaggers, and we are 35 years old now, we had a man who was a very good rug hooker. Normally they are very good rug hookers too. You would know Bill McConnell, who's one. Oh, yes. McDonald is another. Pardon? Yes. Yep. So we welcome men in our group at any time. They're a good balance for all us ladies. Plus, they're always very talented and very good rug hookers.
Go ahead, Councillor.
Shirley, I just noticed in your request, you guys are, how often do you meet? I see you at the Beacon Parlor and you're paying $25. Is that a weekly meeting kind of?
$22 each week.
Yes.
We meet Thursday mornings from 10 to 1.
Yes.
And we changed from Holy Trinity to Beacon a few years ago when our rent got rather exorbitant down there. And prior to Holy Trinity, there were a few women who met in homes, and that's when it started.
How many roughly would be in a meeting? I'm just thinking of how much space you would need.
I've never really worked out an average. We keep a daily attendance. People sign in as they come in. But we can have 20, 25 people. Bad weather, we might only have 4 or 5. Yeah. We did have last year 45 members. And as of this Thursday, we were up to 40 again.
Wonderful, yeah. Yeah, it's a shame that, with all the empty heated spaces we have, that's such a financial, I know $22 doesn't seem like a lot, but on a weekly basis for a small group of volunteers,
yes,
that's something. Thank you.
We started a few years ago charging $20 as a membership, so that everybody who joins now pays $20. And that $20 does not cover our rent for the year. Fortunately, this year, the museum have invited us to meet in their facilities from June July, August, September, for 4 months for free. So we're really looking forward to that.
Good. Thank you, Shirley, very much.
You're welcome.
The SPCA can't make it because she's on a call, so, were you going to ask her to? You can, but, yep. Okay, good, all right. Scotia Sportsmen Association.
Good morning. First, I got to apologize for not showing up last year, but had to go to a funeral of a friend of mine. So this year, I'm here, I'm free. Number one, I just wanted to tell you that all the executive of the Scotia Sportsmen's Association appreciate your grant structure on a yearly basis. And I just came to explain a couple of things. Number one, I think you all know the valuation is commercial, and there's nothing commercial about our operation. So that's one of the biggest reasons that we look for a little help against the cost of taxes. The other thing is that I know you're not too pleased when you see some cash accumulation when you look at the balance sheet, but we're looking at $12 to $14 or maybe more $1,000 to replace our roof. Well, that's what we've been working at. So it looks like we've just reached a place where we can now afford to get it done. So we're here hoping that you're going to entertain a bit of a reduction in our taxes.
Any questions? Go ahead.
So just looking at the budget, Jeff, we gave them, they asked for $1,000 last year. We gave them $1,000. We gave them $821.43 last year towards $1,000 in taxes. Is that on the bottom line? Estimated taxes was $3,591.15. And I'm kind of surprised because that's the only group that for some reason we were really stingy on the amount of taxes. Did we run out of money? Or I was just curious because we actually we budgeted less money. I'm curious why we did not spend all of our tax grant. I know I put the maximum in. I don't know what other people.
No, I guess that's a personal.
And I'm just kind of questioning because we had money left over. It's a shame because this group could really use the dollars.
Like, oh, sorry, didn't see a light.
Okay, so our process, the request last year was for $1,000. The way the process goes is that every councillor has a copy of a spreadsheet, and every councillor fills in the blanks with a number. We have an amount of money to spend, and last year that amount was $305,000 for the tax side of the grants. And the average is what we use. So we take the 7 numbers that the councillors submit, and we just average them, bring it back, and round it to the nearest $10. So that's how the number was arrived at.
And again, refresh my memory's age here. I'm many years older than Jim, so I've got to kind of reflect on this. Why can't we zone them institutional? I'm curious why it's continued commercial. Is that their wish to stay commercial, or because they are a nonprofit organization, you'd think they would fit within that parameter?
It's not a zoning issue, it's an assessment issue. And so there are many different zones. The town can create new zones, C1, C2, C3, health, campus, whatever. But property assessment is done by Property Valuation Services, and they have 2 types of assessment, residential and commercial. And that property is not residential, therefore it's commercial.
And we understand that.
I guess what we have to look at as counselors is upping the donations to bring that probably up. If any counselor wants to do that, they're free to do that. So, in the grants, that's all.
What do you mean?
When all of us get we do our individual ones,
yes,
and to bring it up to a like there's 4 of us here right now that they know the predicament. So I'm willing to up
Yeah.
mine and
Okay.
whoever, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's individual
Okay.
choice.
All right. So,
That's
so
it.
I think the first question that Councillor Langell asked is why the number was lower, but there's, anyway, it's just an individual, it's an individual decision, so.
Yes.
So when if I just look at the grants, like we have almost $235,000 worth of requests, and we have $70,000 to give. So we make decisions based on that. Go ahead.
I'm a little bit confused here. Maybe you can help me out, Bernie, on this. Your taxes are $3,591.15, estimated taxes for this year, right?
Yeah.
And you're only telling us you only won $1,000? Like, wouldn't you be much happier to get $3,591.15? And, you know, is the request? I'm just curious because to me, I'm looking at all of the other groups that are here for taxes. Shift, Tri-County, Yarmouth County, Public Library, every one of them are asking for their taxes, except for your group. And I'm just curious why you're only asking for $1,000 when you've got every right to ask for $3,591.15.
Because we want to be fair. No, I appreciate what you're saying, but our people are very happy with 600, 700, 800, whatever. That's why we ask for 1,000.
I appreciate that because I look at the list of those that are asking for taxes, and I've sat here this is the third year thinking if everybody that could ask asked, we'd have no money.
I know.
So, you know.
Well, again, we appreciate your consideration.
Thank you.
But I think it's in fairness for us as council to realize that they're asking for $2,500 less than they should be asking for. And I do hope we're all equally recognizing the validity of the $1,000. So you got my full support for $1,000.
Am I missing something? Is this a should? No, but I'm trying to figure this out because you said they're asking for $2,500 less than they should be asking for. And this isn't a should, right? This isn't a, okay, all right.
No,
Sorry,
this
isn't about your application. This is about me understanding that.
Okay.
I guess we're not bound.
Well, I didn't think there was any particular
No.
amount that you should ask for.
No, there isn't. There isn't. That's the point.
Okay.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Friends of Trap, Neuter, and Release. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us here, I guess. Friends of TNR, actually, it explains pretty well what we are. We, at the end of last year, we became a not-for-profit charitable organization. And in that process, we ended up having a constitution. So in the process of having a constitution, I will tell you what our purpose for which Friends of TNR was founded upon. And the purpose is to promote the welfare of animals for the benefit of the public by sterilizing, feeding, and providing shelter to feral or stray cats, and finding homes for cats suitable for adoption. Now, in our statement, it says for the benefit of the public for sterilization, by sterilization. So what we do, first of all, people who like cats or who are considered cat people, we consider cats as pets, P-E-T-S. And then there's another group of people who consider cats as pests, P-E-S-T. Well, it doesn't really matter on what side of the fence you're on. There's still an issue with the cat population, and all of the cats have to be addressed, whether it is by one group or the other. So, and to do this, it takes a lot of funds. Just for an example, what we have spent, I'm going to say from January to April 2014, we spent $21,000 just on vet bills. Annually, we spend over just 36,000 on vet bills. And just this year, from October 7th to October 20th, we spent over $12,000. Now, our group is this much people in our group. And what we do, we fundraise, we go crazy over it. And then, with our constitution, we did have help from a family member. My sister, Cyrilla Saunders, helped me a lot with forming up the constitution. So she would be maybe more than one finger. She might be a whole fistful as far as the help went. But we're only a handful of people. Now, how do we acquire our funds? We acquire them by donations, bottle returns. If you see me stopping on the side of the road picking up bottles, I am not above that. I will pick it up. I used to pick it up because I thought it was littering, and I still believe it is, but now I see it as 5 cents towards the cats. We've done ticket sales. We've done bake sales, barbecues. We've done Vessi's bulbs. We've done loads of stuff, but the main thing is to educate people on the sterilization of their animals. I have personally gone to schools in West Pimlico to talk to the children concerning the sterilization of their cats and being responsible pet owners. Yarcrow is also involved with us as they are building cat shelters, and they were looking into possibly taking care of one feeding station. So it involves them, and they feel good about what they do. The vocational school is presently adapting dog houses that they normally do to sell for our cats, so I understood that those were going to be given to us. So we're talking to everybody who will listen about cats. Even I remember when we first had the Olympics. People were talking about the dogs and everything that was happening in Russia and that the dogs weren't taken care of. Well, when people come here and they see stray cats, what do they think? Do they think it's a reflection of us? Do they think that we as a whole are irresponsible pet owners? I think myself as a responsible pet owner, but if I see stray cats on the street and I'm not doing something about it, am I really a responsible pet owner? The other thing, I may consider myself, example, a responsible parent, but if I'm not taking care of the child next door who might need my help, it might be an abusive situation, am I really a responsible parent? So all in all, everything, it means community work. It means working together, and it means looking at this situation and accomplishing this situation. I could probably talk for 2 hours on cats, but I know I only have 10 minutes. And when we do look at a cat, a stray cat, now that we have new laws since the end of last year, it is basically against the law to leave a cat out for 24 hours without providing it food or shelter. Go ahead.
So what happens?
Go ahead.
Because there's just cats on the streets in everybody's yards, and I can't let my dog go do whatever. And so what is this new legislation? What's the penalty, I guess?
That's the whole thing. Things are still being worked out.
Okay.
And it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
But good for you to ask, because I think as communities, we should be getting together and making laws for our own communities. It should be, I think, if people are going to have an animal that's not sterilized, there should be a tax on that. They should be paying to have that, because we are paying an arm and a leg for all of the pets that are not sterilized. And furthermore, it's not more my pet than it is yours or the neighbors or anybody, but we're the ones that are working on it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think, yeah. And we just need help in funding for all of this. The amounts that I did present are not even a reflection of what we pay for pet food. It's just our vet bills. That is all. And it costs a lot. And like I say, they're not my pets more than they're anybody else's pets. And if we give up, where's it going to be?
Oh.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Year 1 is manageable. Year 2, still manageable. Year 3, not manageable. So this is 2 cats. And we are taking care of hundreds of cats. It has become not manageable year 3. So we are now in 2014. I started this, I came on the group when I was in 2011. Well, many of the cats that I wasn't able to get are here now. So the longer we wait, the more money we're going to spend. The longer we wait, there's going to be more suffering. Cats are out there, their tails are freezing off, their ears are freezing off, they're starving. It's not good. So we're wondering if we can have help, I guess, with our financial bills.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Any
listening.
questions? Go ahead,
Yes.
Councillor.
It's not so much a question, but it's, there was a gentleman, Dave Jackor, we all know him, Phil Net knows him. He loved animals and he loved cats. And what he used to do, he just loved creatures, but what he used to do is he'd go around and he'd collect bottles and what have you from different people's homes, my homes and stuff. And he would go in garbage dumpsters and stuff like that, out like the commercial restaurants and stuff, pick things out that were edible for the animals and stuff, and birds and stuff. But every cent that he made, and he made a lot of money from the bottles and everything, he done it every day, he would feed the cats, stray cats, every day.
Yes.
He had, I don't know how many places, from here to Bunkers Island. He had tons of them. And he's passed away. How long has he been gone, Phil? 5 or 6 years. But he fed them faithfully, 365 days a year.
And I commend him.
Yeah, but he since passed on, but he just loved animals and he just loved cats.
I commend him again.
And his barn, his wife said there must be at least 30, 40 cats, but he fed them all and he gave them all shelter and everything. So that's Miss. He was dedicated like you're dedicated.
Yes.
And I am a cat person.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for all your good work.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kendra. I don't know how you just sat there.
I know. I didn't want to keep her from here all day. She wanted to give me experience.
Well, you are already experienced, I can tell. Okay. Kay Nickerson. Welcome.
It's the game, people. We're going to have a race when we leave. Well, good morning, Council. Thank you for this opportunity once again. This is kind of our big event every year as far as fundraising goes. The town is huge, and I wish to thank you for your previous support. Last year was amazing. It releases a lot of stress on the Centre for property tax exemption that we received. That being said, we do have that new building 5 or 6 years ago that the Lions Club provided a spot for us to put the new building on. The province gave the money, the grant money for it. It created a property tax bill that we never had before. And so our main objective today is to have the council consider once again property tax exemption for our building. This year, the amount in your package, there's actually an addendum that I forwarded. We hadn't had the assessment prior to this application for 2015, and the tax bill for this year at last year's rate will come to $28,168 on a revised assessment at $633,000 for the building. So it's a little bit more than last year, and we had already negotiated with the assessment division to reduce it last year, but unfortunately it's up again this year. So that is the amount for the exemption that we're looking at, $28,168, and we also had a sideline for the regular grants like historically. The Kay Nickerson Centre, as most people are aware, provides services to adults with special needs who otherwise would not have a place to go to belong to the community. The Lions Club has been a partner of the Kay Nickerson for decades. We were in their basement for years and years and years. They gave us their backyard, literally, so it's quite a partnership with an organization who does a lot of community work. It's also an opportunity for the town to be in a partnership with the province. The province gave the money for the building, and it's a great opportunity for partnerships is the way I look at it. So when council provides these grant monies, we're really building on relationships and partnerships with the province as well. It sort of parallels the Lions Club community service provider, with Kay Nickerson being a facility to provide services to a high needs group, special needs. So that's basically the headline of today, the property exemption. And again, we're very thankful for any previous help on that. It's huge. It's the big one of the year. We do a lot of fundraising otherwise, like golf tournament in Pubnico called the Caribbean Tournament is put on by certain people, and we do raffles, we do flower seeds, mail-out campaign, and whatever we can do. We've tried a softball tournament, but all of those things combined certainly don't come near what we're looking for from the council as usual. So more partnerships again. So this is our objective today.
Thank you. Any
Thank you.
questions? Good. Thanks for coming.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Maple Grove and Yarmouth High School Memorial Club. Thank you so much. Yeah, Jeff just fixed it. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you. Sorry that my support's not here. I didn't tell them because of the short notice and et cetera. I want to thank council for the years of support. This is going into our 30th year. We'll be having quite a get-together in next October. Still range around 100 kids in the Memorial Club after all these years. I've been retired since 2010, so it's on its reputation with a lot of the younger ones. Of course, I taught most of the parents now. I'm finding that out. As a young man, guy said earlier, that Mr. Langell must know quite well, we want to be fair. We did not ask for 5,000. Why should we as a group ask for 10% or 5%? We just hope that you'll see fit to help us. That is a goal we wish to, 15 of the mothers of fallen soldiers have received one of those statues, and we have found out now it's hitting home, whether they're Catholic, or excuse me, Christian, non-Christian, whether they are atheists, it doesn't matter. There's something comforting. We've checked it out. It's not on our budget, but that's a future plan to send one to every mother who lost their son in Afghanistan across this country. It's going to be quite a project, but that's what gets the young people motivated. Okay. It's going to probably, for all of them, we get a deal from it's a Canadian sculptor, glad to say that.
Yes.
We get quite a deal. For each one to ship them out would be $25 to $30, and that's not bad.
Oh my dear.
For the comfort it brings, you could talk to the Smiths or the Reeds or those who are, we've already given the Silver Cross to, the Memorial Club Silver Cross, and a big thing on the agenda now is they've called, they want to come back to be with the children. They felt something here since 2003 right to 2010. We've taken care of those families. These kids have sent packages to the wounded soldiers and hundreds. And there's about, I would say, $200 or $300 dollars worth of items in each package. It did cost a lot, but the community, especially local drugstores and others with the toothpaste and the, you know, the things that they wanted most. The number one thing was, of course, and is the wipes, baby wipes. I don't know how many baby. Well, when they're on patrol, like Sean Fevens, when he came to talk, he lost 6 of his friends when he was wounded. He has a story to tell and pictures of him in the stretcher. It's heartbreaking, okay? Yeah. But he shows all these little white things because when they're out on patrol for 6 to 8 weeks, and they are in the mountains, they cannot wash. But these wipes, they can't be scented, of course. But they wash themselves down, and it's always dusty. And well, there's a story to be told on that. Thank you. And this is something that we want to send to all the mothers. That's probably next year or so, but who knows. But we will continue with these kids to teach them how valuable it is to volunteer. That's number one. Number two, like the Seafest parade. And then we, right off the bat, we're in the Torchlight Parade with the Yarmouth Fire Department. And then we go from there to Veterans Place, steady as much as we can. Veterans funerals are keeping us busy. as we did in the 90s when the World War I veterans were passing on. Those beautiful kids, you know, in the 90s, they comforted them till the last one in 1998. So now we're into World War II, average 90 years of age. Last September, we don't have the funds to do a lot, but right out of their pockets, the old Merchant Navy veterans with their last official ceremony, the youngest one there was 90, and we drove up there with our flags. We went to the service. They had no flags. They were crying because we brought our flags, and I brought 14 of our youth up, Yarmouth youth. No trumpeter. They had a trumpeter, excuse me. They had no bell. They were in the museum. Navy was there, and we're just blown away. So now, maybe we can do something for them, but it is in the world of expense. Remembrance Day, we have to go to 5 communities. How come all the kids, why are there such a small number at the Yarmouth? 4 down to Main Street, 30 to the Mariner Center. I'm in charge of Carleton. I take 15 with me there. We send 15 to Port Maitland, 10 to 15 if we can, you know, and Kemp takes 2, and the rest you go with your cadets. That's where the numbers are gone. So they are there, but and Canada Day, we're always at Veterans Place. That's where we are. And Christmas Eve morning, but that takes gifts. It takes, we just bought him a new barbecue a couple years ago. Theirs was shot. And over the years, the club, through the help of fundraising, put the wheels on the veterans van. And I'm doing some bragging, but Yarmouth youth have, I'm telling you, they're awesome. I don't have to say it, but they are. And without your help, we can't do much. On the agenda, we hope to, like I said, they're coming down in May. We have it scheduled for May 3rd. They don't know it yet, but it's going to be a weekend where they don't pay anything. That was in the Constitution. That was passed by the members of the Memorial Club in 2003 when we hosted the first, remember the first 4 were killed? Nathan Smith, mother and father, and Ricky Green's family came down. The others were from Ontario. We knew we had something special there, but they fell in love with Yarmouth and the kids. They've been down looking at the monument. They come down to visit. I'd love to see those monuments on our tourist, or in our tourist association. And by the way, the CAA, I'm in CAA. I looked at the map, and the ferry we have goes from Yarmouth to Bar Harbor is something else. That's on the map. Now that map is that's an atlas put up. Yeah, I wanted to bring that to your attention that maybe someone could write to them. Is it? Anyway, I could go on and on. We have things to do. Canada Flag Day is coming up, 50th anniversary. What are you doing? People are always saying, what are you guys doing? I said, what are you doing? Okay, and we are busy. Every Tuesday and Thursday, these young people, we have meetings at the schools, both schools, and it's just, we're getting ready for Crohn's. The barbecue, we go with M&M every year. There's about 8 or 10 of those that the young people do, but it's called volunteering. Yep. Whatever you see fit to give us, we will gladly accept. And hopefully, when I come for this, maybe you want to help us out.
Yeah, get an idea for that, I'll talk to you.
Yeah. So, because when I saw that first, I went, whoa.
Yeah, that knocked me
And there's a lady I must mention, her grandson, Kirk Taylor, was killed. Rosalind Can, okay? Taylor Can. She's alone. And there's about 6. I know the McDonald's in Cape Breton. Their only son was killed. They're not going to get over this. But when they see the children of the club, and she has one of these, Rosalie does, and she has the Silver Cross because there was no males left. She's lost her son when he was 40, and her grandson in Afghanistan. There are stories about, with your help, I can say, okay, young people, what are we going to do? What do you want to do? And I never tell them. I never tell them what to do. We've been called by the mayor of Bridgewater. They're having a problem with remembrance and so on. And we just got a call from, I forget his name.
Dave Walker.
Yes, Dave Walker. I spoke to him last night. Can you guys help us? We want to know if the Memorial Club can come down, or can we come visit your kids to find out just exactly what they do, blah, blah, blah. So Yarmouth kids are doing well.
Yeah, they are. Thank you, Joe, for coming in.
Sorry it took so long.
No, that's okay. Your time's up, though.
All right.
But thank you very much.
No, not yet. I'll get your kidney to you soon.
Thank you. Yarmouth County Historical Society. Welcome.
Thank you. So good morning, Mayor Mood and councillors and Mr. Gushu, who just stepped out. Thanks for taking the time to meet with all of these community groups this morning. I'm Ingrid Dion. I'm the Assistant Director of the Yarmouth County Museum and Archives, and I'm here on behalf of the Yarmouth County Historical Society. Mary Eldridge, the treasurer of the society, who I'm sure you know, is also here if you have any financial questions. The Historical Society is asking for a grant of $5,000, and that money is very much needed to improve the museum in two ways. One is to purchase dehumidifiers and fans for the basement of the Abram Little House, or the green Victorian home that houses the archives. The house was built between 1890 and 1895 and has the original rock foundation, which is inevitably very damp. Since this building houses some very important historic documents, it's imperative that we do everything we possibly can to keep dampness and mildew growth at a minimum. One way of ensuring this is proper air circulation. We currently have an air exchanger and a household dehumidifier, but it's definitely not enough. We need more powerful dehumidifiers and fans to cut down on dampness in the basement to prevent mold and mildew. The second part of the Historical Society's request is to improve lighting in the Yarmouth County Museum. I'm not sure if you've been to the museum lately, but the exhibit area that houses the Victorian rooms, the kitchen, the parlor, and the bedroom are quite dimly lit. And of course, we want to showcase all of the amazing artifacts that we have. Visitors often come and remark that they're amazed that the artifacts that are on display are actually the original artifacts and not reproductions, and that they're not behind glass. And we want to make sure that visitors have the best experience possible, and that would require better lighting to enhance our displays, exhibiting some of the 20,000 artifacts that we have in the museum's collection. The Historical Society would like to update the museum with new energy-efficient light fixtures throughout the main museum exhibit area. So I hope you'll take this opportunity to help us with these small but essential improvements so we can continue sharing the history of Yarmouth County with future generations. We also appreciate your consideration for helping us with our taxes. So thank you again, and Mary and I will take any questions that you may have.
Any questions, anyone? Good. Thank you.
You're good? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Museum and Archives. Same? You did them both together? That's what I thought. Thank you.
Automatic, just for the CEO, it's automatic, the tax, there's not an application required for that.
Yeah, we have to fill this out.
Yeah, but I mean, it's automatic for them. They don't have any paperwork that they need to do because there was something, they filled it out. Okay, so those businesses that are on that second page, they have actually, none of them have been, the last minute, we're not going to find out they didn't apply for the tax relief. Yes, because I noticed on this application, I didn't notice that for the tax relief. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, fair.
Oh, good, okay. But there was just an amount of plus 100, plus minus 100,000, which falls short, I thought, of what, and I just want to make sure. Okay, good. I just want to make sure that the right amount is there, that we're not into similar as what we ran. We had this problem a few years ago when they didn't get as much as they should have, as they were entitled to, and there were some issues, and Mary wasn't exactly happy about that. So I want to make sure that the full amount was applied for. And I don't want to get Mary upset.
No, but this is, hang on, because this is a...
Oh, that was Aunt Oral. She was worse, yeah.
Okay, go ahead, CAO.
No, the situation that we had a couple of years ago wasn't a result of the amount they applied for. It was the same process as every other organization. Each counselor fills out an amount, and then they're averaged. And that's what the average was. So there was no mistake, no error. It is council's decision.
Okay. You understand that piece? Yes. Because if a couple of counselors were not to give the 100%, then you don't get your 100% ask. Yeah, and that's fine, because that's a decision, right? It's not, I guess I'm just hearing today, it's making it sound like this is automatic, that if you apply, you get 100%, but that's not the case. Yeah. Okay.
Changes too, with the lighting and the energy efficiency should help out.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Just a quick point too to Ingrid and Mary. Have you had any dialogue with the Department of Communities, Culture and Heritage with regard to that building? Unfortunately, the building is only a municipally registered, so it's not a provincially registered. But have you had any dialogue for consideration from that department? There is a pot of money there, as you know we did last week, and some of that money is not being utilized. Really, I think you may want to explore through our MLA, Zach Churchill, and as well with them to see if you can get some special funding, because you're in a unique position where you're housing and archives. There's not many local archives in the situation that you're in. You might be able to get some funding from government if you approach it right, and if there's anything I can do to assist, I will. Because really, looking at not realizing this is what you're going to do, I think there would be funds there for you if we approach it right way. So it might be something you may want to have a dialogue with maybe Marcel McCoo, who is down. You met him, I think, Ingrid, last week, and I think you may want to initiate that sooner than later, because there may even be some money this year. Just saying, just passing it on.
Good, thank you. Yarmouth Public Library and Museum. Hello, David.
And I also have an assistant here with me, and that is Mary.
Ah.
Stay for another 10 minutes. She agreed to stay. Mary is the chair of our Finance Committee. First of all, thank you for your past contributions. It does not show in the financial statement that I showed, the short one, because with your help, we received it prior to March 31st of 2014. Therefore, it does not show in our operating statement to November 14th. It was received just prior to March 31st, so it was in last year's amounts. In addition to that, I do apologize for Elizabeth Ehrenberg not being here. She did have to take a vacation, so she apologized and said, Dave, I'm sure you can handle it. Our request this year is also for the covering of our property taxes and a small grant. You'll note that I reduced it by a half. That's what our request in this is, for the amount of the property taxes 2015. When we fill that out, we don't know the amount. So it's important for us to ask for whatever it may be, if that's appropriate. And the other is for a $5,000 grant. For your information, other than taxes, it's about $105,000 a year to operate the building, and 96% of that is actually building cost. And the building includes the Western Counties Regional Library head office plus the Yarmouth branch. We do receive a grant back, or not a grant, rent from the Western Counties Regional Library to cover approximately 40% of that. But at the same time, we have about $60,000 of expense for the caring of the building and the property that we're dealing with. So that $60,000 is fully the expense of the investments that have been put away very carefully over many years, and they are growing again more recently after some difficulties. So they help us, but if we go into our capital, it makes it very awkward. So we're trying to do it with the interest available. We've also saved in the last few years through heat pump that Danny mentioned, and certainly heat pumps appear to be a very positive direction to go. We feel we've saved probably $15,000 this year, and in future $20,000 a year by that change, and that's quite significant. It's 20% of our budget. So in that case, we feel we've saved quite a bit, and we're being very frugal with that. At the same time, many of our volunteers are old. I'm old, but at the same time, many others are old. I'm older than Ken is. He was talking earlier about being older than Jim. I don't think, but Jim appreciates that. At the same time, many of our people are older and they appreciate what we do. We take care of all the Yarmouth citizens' reading needs, some of their computer needs. Often they'll use the back field. And in fact, I had a call last night. Someone wants a wedding there this year. So we offer that, and we make sure the lawn is mowed and the power is on in case they need that, or the water is on if they need that. So we're very kind with our property, but it does cost to maintain it. So we're asking you for a little bit of support toward our operating costs for this year in the amount of $5,000. We did ask in the past the municipality. Last year we did not receive anything from the municipality. We received from you. Thank you. But we've asked them again this year, or we will ask them when their application comes out. Thank you.
Okay. They're both grants, by the way.
Yes, yes. I understand.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Councillor.
Dave, thank you, Your Worship. Did you get any assistance for your heat pump?
Yeah, yes, we did. From the original design, we received back $1,000. Other than that, we paid the full amount of it.
Because
there was no assistance at that time.
Okay. Doesn't Efficiency Nova Scotia? Did you check with them?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, because the reason why I say that, I think it was, I know the church out on Parade Street put two heat pumps in, and I think their estimate was around $15,000, and through grants, either through Efficiency Nova Scotia or the government itself, through the Nova Scotia Power,
yes,
the total bill was a little less than $3,000 for the help that they got.
Yes, you're right. The agreement was made about 4 years ago.
Okay, well,
when we started, it may have been before
they
some
probably
of those
wasn't,
recent ones.
that's right,
You're
they probably wasn't out. So people that are interested, there is help out there, right?
I agree.
And I have two of them, and I keep bragging them up, but I have two, and they work very well.
And we're a real example of a success
Yeah.
story in terms of that, certainly.
Yeah.
Our cost was around $46,000 in the end.
Well, mine was about $4,000 each.
Yeah.
So they're not cheap, but in the end,
But 3 years from now,
it'll be paid
off
for.
and
That's
we'll-
right.
we'll
Anyway,
save.
I'm hoping that you had access to that.
We did,
And,
yes.
and they're still out there. You can still get grants. So.
Thank you.
Good. CAO?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the Efficiency Nova Scotia. We've talked about it a little bit here before, that they help if you're going from electric heat to heat pumps or some other more, excuse me, more efficient heat source. But if you're going from oil, they don't participate.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. We did get a $1,000 grant for the analysis, so that was good.
Good. Thank you very much. Okay, museum. Thank you, David. Junior A Mariners Fan Club? Thank you, Mary and Peter.
Mr. Elm as soon as I can.
Welcome.
Good morning, Your Worship, councilors, Jeff, Linda. We're here this morning to support an application that we made to receive a grant for a hockey tournament that we're planning in the end of August. And what it encompasses is bringing 2 teams from the United States, New England in particular, and matching it with our team plus another team from the MHL. And it'll be the first year of many, we hope, and we haven't really named it yet, but it'll be somewhere like an international cup or something like that, or whatever. We have the plan is to have start on Thursday and end on Sunday with the gold, silver, bronze games, and all the games will be done at the Mariners Center. And I basically, when I did my budget, or we did the budget, I put in there, this is what it's going to cost to put it on. You may look at it and see it's a little bit high, but I'm not sure just how much the teams are willing to spend, or we, you know, we're not that far along yet. Just that the deadline for the application to go in was a few days after we became a society legally, and so I basically put all of our costs in. And it works out to about 150 room nights. That's for the 3 teams coming in. I've already had, I got a call from the radio station on Wednesday and asked about it, and I asked Kevin, I said, how do you know? And he said, well, it's on the town website, which I went and found out after, but he kind of caught me off guard. But since then, we've had people call to volunteer. We've had people to say, oh, we want tickets. But I've had a restaurant owner call to say they would like to get involved, in a hotel. So I guess we're all looking for stuff out there that we can do. Mm-hmm. So rather than each one of you know what's involved with the hockey tournament, we'd like to expand it in a few years down the road to 6 teams, but if there's any questions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Wayne, I like the idea, and especially like the United States aspect of it, and get somebody else involved, like one of the other teams from the Maritime League. This is something that is outside of the box a little bit. It supports the infrastructure we already have in place, Your Worship, at the Mariner Center. And you're talking about expanding it already, Wayne, and there's been some interest, you said, from the local community and volunteer base. We had the conversation, Your Worship was there, with Mike Brennan, the mayor of Portland. I'd like to see their affiliate. They have a American Hockey League team. Their affiliate is the Arizona Coyotes, and I'd like to see maybe an AHL aspect of it, talking about the International Cup. It could be the Lobster Cup, it could be the whatever you want to call it, but because they have such a cluster there in Massachusetts of the AHL teams. They got one in Worcester, they got one in Portland, Lowell, I think. To get those guys over on the boat would be a great.
Last year, I called thought about this last August, and what we would do is, rather than go away, and Phil, you remember back a few years ago, or a number of years ago now, we did bring in some other teams. We had a tournament here, I think we called the Lobster Pot or something like that, and what we do is it's part of the training camp. At the end of the training camp, you get a chance to look at it, and everybody will do the same thing all in one place. But when I called the president of the Junior A League in New England last August, just to see if there'd be any interest, within 24 hours, he had a team from Connecticut and a team from New Hampshire that wanted to come. But at that point, it was too late to put it together. Now, I've been discussing it with Nova Star quite a bit lately. Matter of fact, Owen and I talked yesterday about it. And, and I think, Phil, you were there a couple of years ago. We discussed it with, I'm not sure what his job position was with Portland, the town or city of Portland, but we were talking about an international golf tournament for you.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's on the table with, Nova Star and I are talking about that and things like that. And the ATV, it's a great opportunity to do what we thought about 5-6 years ago. And but anyway, this is for a hockey tournament. Maybe I'll be back later on.
Yeah, when's the training camp, Wayne, for the Mariners? It's usually just this time of year too, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. We would bring the boys in. Normally we have about 40 players come in for camp. We would actually have the camp for 3, 4, 5 days, and go into that weekend with the tournament. But the other team from the MHL and also the 2 American teams would use it as a
training camp too,
as to look at their players and who they're going to go with for the season. So.
Okay, good. Thank you, Wayne.
I have a question, and it could be a very simple answer. I don't need I'm just looking at the expenses and I'm wondering, why are we paying meals, accommodations, transportation, Nova Star? Why are we paying all that for, so you just call the team and we provide everything?
Well, no, it's basically, well, we've been on that side where we've had to do it, but normally what would happen in this, the team would pay an entry fee and they would pay their own expenses. However, getting something like this off the ground, it may cost, a fair amount of chunk of money to bring them here or whatever. So there may be some cost sharing based on the number of tickets sold and things like that. But we became a society middle of December, and I think by the 19th I had to have the application in. So what I did, when I did the budget, that's the budget. That's what it would cost. Now, you can pare that down if the teams, let's say if the teams paid most of their meals or paid for their meals, it would take that out of the budget. So rather than $90,000, it would end up being, you could bring that down to $45,000 putting on. Now, it's all based on, in any hockey tournament that I've been involved in, it's all based on how many seats you're going to sell and how many tickets you're going to sell. And I was kind of, I'm not sure whether I'm conservative there or not, but the 4 o'clock games on the 1st of August, basically I'm looking at is 400 people in the afternoon, 600 at night. I mean, this could, you don't know.
Okay. Good. Any more questions? Thank you, Wayne.
Okay, thank you.
So this is an evolving process, right, Wayne?
Pardon me?
This is still evolving.
Yeah.
St. Andrew Society, Southwestern Nova Scotia. Welcome. You're being live streamed, so you can let us know who you are, although we know you, Martha.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Martha Cassidy. I'm the treasurer of the St. Andrews Society for Southwestern Nova Scotia. With me today, I have as backup the Reverend Ray Corbett, who's the president of the society, and Patricia McPherson Gascoigne. Have to get the McPherson in, okay? Pardon?
Pancake system.
And putting the time that Reverend Corbett and I have lived in Yarmouth, Pat's been here longer than that. I have a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, but you can see that we're not asking for $5,000. We are seeking some assistance, primarily because this is the 10th time since 1979 that the International Gathering of the Clans has come to Nova Scotia. So that means that roughly every 3 to 4 years, the International Gathering of the Clans comes here as opposed to Europe or North America or wherever. This is the first time ever that it has determined that the Federation for Scottish Culture in Nova Scotia has requested, and we've agreed, to allow them to hold their closing exercises here in Yarmouth. Those closing exercises will take place on the 25th of July and the 26th of July. We are evolving the process. We have never done this before, and so we can't really give you any idea of whether or not it will have a huge impact on the town. But we believe that the possibility is there if we can be a successful and vibrant opportunity for people to get involved, that another 3 or 4 years they'll be coming back. Certainly, I suspect that the presence of the Nova Star is one of the reasons why they have asked us to become involved. I think that this year, by the way, is the 390th anniversary of King Charles I, I think, granting the charter which named Nova Scotia, Nova Scotia as opposed to New Scotland. So obviously there is history there. There must be some reason why the municipality of Argyll is named Argyll. We have Argyll Street, we have Aberdeen Street, we have Waverley, but we also, the town of Yarmouth has not had a tradition of naming streets after capital cities or important cities throughout the world, and yet we have several. We don't have a London city, we don't have an Ottawa street, but we do have Aberdeen and Argyll for sure, and Highland. So that one of the things I'm discovering is that there is a significant amount of history which is appropriate to people of Scottish descent in this area. And I just think that our population is not aware of that. The project for which we're looking for assistance is one where we intend to purchase fabric, the Yarmouth tartan, and cut it into amounts, or sort of like a tie that people can wear, and present it to people who are here for that. By the way, Tartan Day is April the 6th of this year. It would be appropriate for town councillors to be wearing the Yarmouth, with the exception, of course, of Deputy Mayor MacLeod and Councillor McIsaac, who I assume both have at least ties in their tartan.
I love it.
So you're just asking for that amount for the, just for the tartan?
Just for the tartan,
Good.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's all.
Good. Perfect. It is very good. It's exciting. Thank you.
It is. I've had a lot of cooperation. I've been in touch with the 3 museums to get their permission for me to point out to people that they can check out their genealogy through the museums. In fact, Peter Crowell said that the Tuscan Courthouse would offer free tours for that weekend.
Good. Councillor, go ahead. Quick.
That date was April 9th, Tartan Day?
April 6th.
6th. Just wanted to make sure. That's Easter Monday. Very suitable.
Yes. I didn't pick the date.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you
very much. Argyll and Yarmouth geocachers. Welcome, Frank.
Hello. Good morning. First of all, I wanted to give regrets from one of our main coordinators of this event. Harry Frost isn't feeling well today, so he's asked me to come and quickly address council about our plans for our 5th annual Argyll and Yarmouth Geocaching Day on June the 6th. So first of all, I want to thank Town Council's support for this event, for the previous 4 events. Ever since we started this, the town and municipality of Yarmouth have been major sponsors of this event in bringing anywhere from, when we first started, 50 people to now close to 100 people to the area to geocache. And for those of you that don't know what geocaching is, it's basically a way to get some physical activity mixed in with some technology and using the GPS to do treasure hunting. And there's lots of people out there that geocache, and it's a great event to get people out and be active and socialize. So our plans for this year's event, we have become more of a county-wide event. We've drawn in the municipality of the District of Argyll last year, and they're on board again this year. So we have hosted the event in the past at the Lighthouse and at the Hebron Recreation Complex. But our whole plan when we first started this was to try to spread the venues around, because when people come to these events, they geocache the area. So I think we've pretty much tapped out the Hebron area, and the Lighthouse had a few geocaches, and so now we're looking to spread out to the Village Historique in West Pubnico. And they've welcomed us with open arms, and we're presently making plans to have a day out there in West Pimlico where 75 to 100 people from near and far will come, geocache for the day, having some nice social activities. I know the last couple of years an impromptu social at Rudders has taken place amongst the group, and we're hoping that we can expand plans for that to get more people out to Rudders for a social event on Saturday evening. And the other neat twist to this in getting people from away down for this event is that we've coordinated our event on Saturday, and we also partner with our neighbors in Barrington for their annual event on Sunday. So when people from away come down, they can geocache the entire weekend. So, so you see our application there. We're asking for support again from all 3 municipal councils, and looking forward to another great day. And I know Councillor Mooney's been there a few times, and one of the neat things with geocaching.com, where people register for this event, is once they register for the event, they get to give comments. And at the back of our application, I included all the comments on there from people near and far, and they say that this event has been one of the highlight events that most people have attended. So we hope to continue on until we've hit 20 or 25 annual events.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Frank. Good event, well attended the last several years. And the thing I liked about it this past year was people that had never geocached before came in, and Yvette gave them a crash course, and Harry gave them a crash course on what to do, what to look for, you know, the parameters of geocaching, and people went away interested, and I think got hooked on it. So it was a good day, and I think it's one of those unique events that's kind of highlights the whole of Yarmouth in Yarmouth County. So, and people were from Halifax; they were from all over the province and came down. They had a great weekend. So, connecting with Barrington's a good fit with that. Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you
very much.
Frank, you gonna stay for the baseball one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shift. Shift. Is Shift represented? Okay. Welcome.
Good morning, Mayor Mood and Council. My name is Adam Dolliver. I am the Executive Director of Shift Youth Services here in Yarmouth. Just a bit of background on Shift. Shift is a tri-county organization. We serve Shelburne, Yarmouth, and Digby counties. We provide outreach to youth aged 16 to 24 in all 3 counties, and we also provide transitional housing option for youth who are at risk of or experiencing homelessness. As part of our application, I had submitted some statistics of the activity that Shift has been conducting since April 1st of this year, or excuse me, of 2014. Just wanted to update those a bit and let you know that as of the end of December, Shift has provided residential service for 33 individual youth. So these are the sons and daughters of Yarmouth, Shelburne, and Digby counties. And also we've provided outreach services to 91 individual youth in the tri-counties, and over 3,000 service provisions in that 9-month period. Our request is for the amount of $5,617.44, which is the cost of our property tax. As you may know, Shift Youth Services is funded largely through the Department of Community Services. We received a grant in January 2014 in the amount of $350,000. And that grant covers our core funding. Unfortunately, it doesn't cover all the costs associated with running Shift, and we do have to fundraise and rely on donations from the community to make up the difference in the operating budget. So the amount we're asking for, $5,000, seems to be a bit of a drop in the bucket. It's not really a whole lot of money. But what we found is that with our youth residing at Shift, one of the conditions that they're residing there is that they're unable to access income assistance monies from the Department of Community Services. And that normally doesn't cause such a large problem because we are providing the necessities of life, shelter, clothing, shelter and food, transportation, and the like to the youth. However, things like clothing and personal allowance are not provided to the youth. And what we're seeing is that the youth are engaging in high-risk activities in order to gain money. They're already suffering trauma, and oftentimes they're suffering from abuse from their birth families that they're coming from. And the youth are in a state of high trauma and low self-esteem. And we find that adding on to that the condition of being impoverished and not being able to get money through income assistance is adding to the struggles that these youth are facing. And as a result, we've witnessed that the youth are engaging in high-risk behaviors in order to get money. Some of those behaviors include selling drugs, stealing from us, from each other, from local businesses, and also in some rare cases, some prostitution. We feel that if we are able to better allocate our funds, then we can offset some of their need, and we would be able to reduce some of these high-risk behaviors. So again, the money we are seeking from the town council is to offset our property tax so that we can reallocate the monies that we have currently dedicated in our budget for property tax to other things such as recreational equipment and activities for the youth so that they can engage in other activities, more healthy activities, to help them to become better, productive members of our society and our community here in Yarmouth. Yeah, I would be happy to take any questions at this time.
Councillor McIsaac?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just one question. Do you seek funding from the other municipalities that you serve?
Yes, and we have sought funding through other municipalities here in the Tri-Counties and also through other organizations that are offering grants, yes.
And are you successful in getting some of those?
Unfortunately not at present, no.
And are they aware that you do a service for their communities also?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Unbelievable. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a quick question on your, when you submit your core funding from Department of Health, Community Services, et cetera, is there a line in there for taxes?
There is a line in our budget, so...
No, I'm referring to the funding from government.
Yes.
Is there a line? Do they give you funding for taxes in that line?
The service level agreement with Department of Community Services hasn't been finalized as of yet, and so they have given us a lump sum of $350,000, which we have allocated in a budget. One line item, yes, is property taxes.
So a supplemental, so they're aware that when because Councillor Moody McIsaac and I are on several boards where this is becoming an issue with the Department of Health, they're aware that if we grant X amount of dollars to you in lieu of taxes, that they're aware that that money is being granted by this municipal unit.
It would be reported.
It would be reflected in there, so it would be clear that's what the amount was for.
Yes. So if we were successful in acquiring the grant from the town council, we would revise the budget, advising Department of Community Services of such, and reallocating the funds that are currently allocated for property tax.
Good. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Tri-County pregnancy. Welcome, Debbie.
Mayor Mood and councillors, thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit today about the Tri-County Pregnancy Care Centre. My name's Debbie Cook, and I'm the Executive Director at the organization. So we're requesting a grant in the amount of $2,000 to help us cover operating expenses and programming. Our proposed expenses for this year will probably run us around $50,000 to $52,000. The mission at the center is to support women and families who are facing unplanned pregnancy. So this past year, some of the ways we've done that, we've supported 22 women who gave birth, and our clients range anywhere from age 14 to, I think we had one lady that was 44 last year. So as you can see, there's a broad range there of ages. We had about 213 visits for material support, and those visits included things such as we gave out over 3,000 diapers, approximately 90 cans of baby formula, We made up little bags this year. We had started a new little program where we made up hospital supply bags because the hospital doesn't provide any supplies anymore for new moms going in to give birth. So we provide that. We provide prenatal vitamins on their first visit, and then we try to connect them to the Baby Be Healthy at Sobeys program.
The what program?
They have, it's called Baby Be Healthy at Sobeys, where you can sign up for that and you can get prenatal vitamins the whole time through your pregnancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll give them their first box when they come in. We provide a layette bag filled with new baby supplies that'll get them started for the first couple of weeks after the baby's born. As well, we also provide a vast amount of baby clothing and all kinds of other supplies. And they can come in, you know, there's no cutoff date, so they can come in until their children are 2 or 3 if they need supplies. And for the most part, we find people pretty good. They don't really abuse it. They come in when they need something, and they don't take it if they don't need it. We'll, you know, people will come in and we'll say, well, do you need formula today? No, I've got some home. So, you know, it makes us feel good to know that they're not abusing the services. Some of the programming that we offer includes, we just started a new program with breast pump loans because we're really trying to support women to breastfeed, and that can be a barrier not having a breast pump. So we've purchased 4 or 5. We're hoping to get more this year, and we can loan them to a client for 3 months, and if they need them longer, they can come back or they can keep them as long as they need them. Also, we've got a car seat program and this is from a grant at the IWK where we can give a client a brand new car seat. If they're a client that has community services, they're entitled to get a car seat and a crib through community services. But there's a lot of young women that, you know, if they're not getting funding from community services, but they don't have that extra money, you know, they're picking up used car seats that aren't safe. So that's the service we're providing. We're also doing prenatal education classes. We had 35 visits last year for prenatal education classes. That was up a lot. Public health has switched over to an online program now, and you know, you have to be self-motivated to do that, and you know, plus the fact you have to have a computer or be able to go somewhere to access a computer. And a lot of our clients have a variety of literary needs, so this way we can come, they can do it one-on-one, we can do it in group with them. So a lot of people do come and do prenatal one-on-one. And also many of our clients are at risk due to their lack of resources, so it's really important that they get that prenatal education. We just started a parenting program. This coming week we're starting it where we'll educate new parents about many topics such as healthy nutrition, bonding with baby, discipline, breastfeeding. We have resources on shaken baby syndrome, postpartum depression, all those types of things that we're going to be offering. We also do sexual integrity program with youth. This is mostly through youth groups at church, where we present our healthy sexuality program, which focuses on healthy relationships and sexual abstinence. We try to tell kids, you know, at 14 and 15, you don't need to be having sex with multiple partners. You know, it's putting you at risk not only for an unplanned pregnancy, but also a huge risk for sexually transmitted infections. A lot of youth believe that, you know, if they use a condom, they're okay, but some sexually transmitted infections are spread skin to skin, so they're not always protected using condoms. We also do a program that is quite unique to us, is post-abortion recovery. So we facilitate a post-abortion recovery program for women who experience regret and sadness after abortion. Approximately 50% of pregnancies in Canada are unplanned, and half of those end in abortion. And many women have lingering emotional effects, so we have a program, it's like a grief recovery program, where they can come and walk through this and experience some healing. So we're a small organization, but I believe we have a big impact on those who require our services. We get very little government funding other than a few municipal grants. We do apply to all the other municipalities, and we did receive grants last year from all of them. And most of our funding comes from churches, organizations, individuals, businesses, and just the generosity of the community. All of our services are free, and most of the material things that come in are things that we advocate for. So that's pretty much it in a roundup. Any questions?
Thank you, Debbie.
No.
No questions? Good. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Tripa.
Hi, John. Long time no see.
I see you this morning.
Yeah.
And thanks again, folks, for the condolences. He's okay now, and hopefully we're okay as well. I'm not going to give a presentation. You all know what TREAP is about. Do you have any questions? I'm asking for $500 to look after operating costs as usual, and whatever you can throw at us, we'll be grateful to accept.
Yeah, do you need it?
Do we need? Well, we can always use it. We can give an accounting for it.
No, that's a different answer than
No,
last year,
that's a
John,
different
wasn't it?
answer. I asked it because do you need it?
We'll survive without it.
There's my answer.
It's very helpful to have it, but we'll survive without it.
You guys had a student last year, John.
Yep, we have a student every year, hopefully this year too.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you know, whatever you
Oh, I
can
know.
throw at us is helpful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was easy.
I know.
They should take lessons from you. Frank, take lessons from John. Take lessons from John, Frank.
He's getting another appointment at noon.
Tri-County Multicultural. Thanks, John.
See you, John.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm Tracy Holmes Carbonell. I think I know everyone. The president of the Tri-County Multicultural Association. And the Vice President G gives her regrets. She's actually in Hawaii right now and couldn't take time out to come back to do this. Yes, I know, fortunately.
She's like, keep longer at the same wedding.
Okay.
Her brother's wedding, yeah.
Right?
So.
Am I right?
Sorry, we're just having
No, that's fine.
Right? Am I right? Bobby Bragg married Keith's daughter, right?
Yes, yeah.
Keith Condon.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Same
big
goes
wedding.
there, yeah. Okay,
Big
good.
wedding.
Sorry.
I'm also not going to talk a lot about the Tri-County Multicultural Festival that we're asking funding for this year. We're pretty well established here. It's our 8th official festival. 9th, we did one at the Y in 2007 that was kind of an unofficial festival. We are asking for 10,000, and I do want to thank the town for your generous grant last year of 5,200. We are asking for a bit more, mainly due to the expenses that we incurred last year. We did scale back quite a bit, but we were also very fortunate that we were able to recruit a group from the U.S. and bring them over on the boat, and they actually only asked for their accommodations and their ferry to be paid for. So that helped us a lot, a tremendous amount. And a lot of them were under 19, so it was a pretty cost-effective trip for them. But we're not always going to have that opportunity every year.
Excuse me.
We do heavily rely on grants. We did chop a bit into our bank account last year, and if that happens again, it will be quite difficult to do another festival without the grants. We have requested money as well from the other counties. However, we haven't been as successful of getting much money from them, very, very small amounts, if any, because it is in Yarmouth and continues to be in Yarmouth, and I don't think that they understand that it is still Tri-County and this is a central location, but they don't see the benefit for their county as much as what Yarmouth does. I think it's a huge value to the Tri-Counties to have this festival every year, especially for our branding. It supporting diversity, not only supporting it, but celebrating it and showing that we do that every year. I talk to a lot of people from all of the counties and even beyond that come to our festival every year and really enjoy it. The one issue that I am concerned about is space this year, and I don't know really what we're going to do about that, because the bigger we get, the more people come, the more crowded it is. So we may need to look at that and what other options we will have. We absolutely love having it on the waterfront. That's our goal again. And even though we have been approached to move the festival, I'm not interested in doing that, and I know our committee is not, because the more you move things around, it just confuses people. One thing that happened last year that we were really excited about was we had a huge support from the Acadia First Nations that we've never really had before, and it was a huge success. And they're definitely on board for supporting us again this year. So, and that's all I have.
Good, thank you so much. Go ahead, Councillor.
Yeah, and Tracy, when you talk about moving the festival, you're talking about moving it out of Yarmouth
Yes.
County, right?
Yeah. We have been approached to do that a few times, but like I said, I think most of our resources are here, and it is the central location for the Tri-County. If we moved it to Shelburne, we'd lose Digby. If we moved it to Digby, we'd lose Shelburne. So even though they want it, they really do, I don't think that would be in our the best option for us at this point. And like I said, most of our resources are here.
Yeah,
and people know where it is. They know when it is. You know, it was a huge success last year. What I'm looking at is space, however, because the more people that show up, we had around 5,000 people come
That's
through.
That's a good problem to have, though.
What's that?
That's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem, but it is concerning because people do get frustrated if it's crowded and there's, you know, people in and out and things like that. But we are looking at that and seeing how we can accommodate the crowd.
And Your Worship, I went to the financial indicators yesterday in Wolfville, and one of the topics in the morning was immigration.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
And, you know, something like this just brings the community together and shows the diversity like Tracy talked about earlier. And I think this festival is one of the things that's important to keep in Yarmouth. We should support them financially, and I know we've gone above and beyond some of the other years with some of the logistic problems, but this is the kind of event that we're looking for here in the town of Yarmouth. So you have my full support, Tracy, and good luck again this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Landry.
Thank you, Tracy. I noticed in your budget you have for artists and local artists approximately $10,000, and this is based on 2013, I think, and this is an application you submitted. Did a representative of your group attend that Communities, Culture and Heritage session at the Historical Society last week?
I didn't, no.
Okay. And I don't want to take time, Your Worship, but we should be in contact. There is a sum of money, a large sum of money from the province that the different musicians can apply to perform at your event.
Right.
And that fund is rarely spent. It's free money. So if you have 3 or 4 musicians planned who are going to perform, all you have to do is go on their community site and send me an email. I'll give you all the links. Okay. They apply for funding. Province pays all their fees to perform at your event.
Okay.
You don't apply, they apply for funding.
Okay, right, because I think we had approached them for funding before.
Yeah, you can't get it, but sometimes it wasn't clear. A lot of groups like you will say this, no, you're not eligible. But the musicians who are performing, they are the ones that make the application. So what a lot of groups do is they do the applications for the musicians, have the musicians sign it and send it in. So you may want to look at that. It's a way you can make a fair chunk of change and save some money.
One other thing too, we did receive funding from the province for a summer for a student last year for the first time as well, and we realized that we needed a student, and it was probably night and day because we're all volunteers, we're all full-time employees in our jobs, and to have that full-time person dedicated to this festival because it has grown so large was absolutely necessary. So we have applied again for the student and hope to receive that funding. But I will maybe get in touch with you later about that. Yes, I do, yeah. Great, thank you.
Good, thanks.
Thank you
very much.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you.
Canadian National over 35. Oh, it looks like it's over 50.
It's over the hill, is what it is.
Almost?
Almost.
How's that arm, Frank?
Hasn't been tested since the new collarbone.
Is it going to be tested? You're not going to play this year, right? Yes. You going to play?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you all for having us and listening to our rant, I guess. My name is Darrell LeBlanc, as I'm sure most of you know. As you know, in August this year, actually July 31st to August 3rd, Yarmouth is once again going to be hosting the Canadian Over 35 National Baseball Championships. This will be the 4th time that we host this event. We previously held it in 94, 2006, and 2009. This time, again, for 2015, we're back again looking for some funding. I can indicate that there are a few things that are different this time compared to last.
There it is.
Regarding the funding, and again, I can get into the tournament and that, but I really want to focus, I guess, in regards to the need that we require the funds. We have 3 ways to receive money regarding this tournament: application fees, sponsorships, and grants. We do not receive any funding or money from ticket sales or things like that. It's an open tournament. We're playing at 5 different fields throughout Southwest Nova. It's a 4-day event. We have approximately 36 teams coming into the area. Now, there are some local teams, but if you even look at approximately 24 to 25 of those teams will be requiring hotel rooms, staying in the area. We had an economic impact study done at the end of 2009, and the direct and indirect to Nova Scotia was over $1 million, the impact to the province for this tournament. Our budget, is approximately $50,000. I'll be straight up with you. I mean, that's adjustable. We've done this tournament at $37,000, $38,000, $39,000 to put this on, and we've done a great job thanks to the volunteers. What's happening this time, though, unlike previous times, at this point in time, previous years, we actually had somewhere around $17,000, $18,000, $20,000 sitting in our account by this point. And the reason was because sponsorship was so fantastic. During those years, there wasn't a lot of major events coming to the area, and so we sort of had, I don't want to use the term free run on sponsorship, but that's exactly what we had. Yeah. We had a lot of corporations that jumped right on board with purchasing a platinum sponsorship package of $2,000 a shot, and it worked great, right? We had those sponsors lined up and the money was there. What's happening now, because of all the large events that is being hosted in Yarmouth, and that's great, but all these events are being sponsored by the same corporations, and so corporations are getting, the amount of the requests are becoming more and more, and so the amount of sponsorship dollars coming from them is becoming less and less coming our way. One of the major costs that is associated with this tournament, unlike at other places maybe throughout Canada of hosting this, is the officiating. We require a certain level of umpire, and unfortunately we have approximately only 2 in the Yarmouth area, which means that we are going to be required to bring in approximately 16 umpires from across Nova Scotia, which means you're paying for them to come here, their lodging, their meals, the cost for them to do the games, and so on throughout the tournament. Along with that, of course, there's all the other small little items that come and go of putting this tournament on, and there are many. With that, the need that we're asking for of $5,000, I really cannot stress strongly enough that it is something that is very important to put this on. As I indicated previously, at present, normally at this time, from the previous tournaments, we would have $17,000, $18,000, $20,000 sitting in the account right now. At present, we have less than $1,000 into the account. Now, we do have some money coming from the province. I'm not exactly sure the full amount. I have been guaranteed $3,000 so far. We had requested $8,000. They're working on trying to get the other $5,000 for us, which is going to help. Our application fees that will be coming in from the teams will be approximately $15,000 that we'll receive from that. That in itself, the $15,000 from the teams, is really only going to cover the cost of our umpires. So everything else that we need to do and put on, the promoting, the advertising, all the costs associated with getting this together. And again, we do have a banquet that's going on Saturday night down on the waterfront, which will be a lobster boil and a dance. We're having a band as well, a local band performing. All this is being, again, covered by us The banquet itself, we're trying to keep the cost relatively low for the teams that are coming in. We expect somewhere around 600 to 800 people to the area. That is norm from before. The teams from away, and especially a lot of the ones from Ontario that come in, a lot of them do bring their families, and they do stay beyond the tournament. They make a vacation out of it, and they do some touring of the area and as well as Nova Scotia while they're here. And again, and with the economic impact, and I have numbers here, and you guys need them. You know, the total impact for all of Nova Scotia in 2009 was $1.2 million that this tournament generates. The amount we're asking, and I know there's a lot of worthy things that are put out there and events that are coming up that also deserve funding as well, but I really, again, cannot stress enough how important that we certainly feel that the amount from council that we're asking for, it certainly is going to make a difference in regards to what we can do. The last thing we want to do is to put on a tournament and then not be able to deliver what Yarmouth is known for across this country, and that is that we put on a good show and the hospitality is fantastic, and it is second to none. And we keep doing it with everything that we do. If you ask any of the teams that have come here before, that have been to these tournaments across Nova Scotia, or sorry, across Canada, you ask them which are the best tournaments that have taken place, and they will tell you the ones that have been held in Yarmouth. And that's why we will have, again, a large turnout of people to come. They will spend money here, and they will support businesses. I am, at that point, I think I have said what I needed to say, and I am open to questions.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is the kind of event that we're looking for. And I think the Councillor Langell can give myself or Daryl or Frank the information on, remember we had the, because they are going to have local talent playing for the, yeah, so that's an opportunity to, and that's one of the things, like you said, Daryl, in the small community, right? And the company that you work for, or the business you work for, is probably the best supporter of local and national events that there is.
Yeah,
but like you
sure.
said, if you go into the same person time after time after time, and we've had the Redwood Cup and over 35 national baseball championships, and there's another one. We had another one this morning about a junior hockey tournament, like an international hockey tournament. There's only a small group of businesses, but the asks are getting bigger and bigger, and the events are getting bigger too.
Yes, they are. And again, and if you look at right now with 2015, just from August, I mean, we're looking at the Canadian Nationals here. You're looking at, again, the presentation by the Mariners of hosting that tournament also in August. We have Music Week coming in November. That's not counting the Chicks for Sticks, event that takes place and all the other things that are going on at the same time. So one of the things that I will mention as well, which I didn't mention, we certainly are receiving some sponsorship. What we're receiving, though, is a lot of it is not dollar. We're getting a lot of in-kind stuff. And so, for example, let's go to my company that I work for, the Coastal Financial Credit Union. They've come out, they've sponsored the over 35, actually Frank's team. We're the main sponsor for their team and provided the uniforms and the funding that they need for that. What they've also done is they've provided the bags to pass out to the teams. So all the players that are coming in are going to receive a nice bag, a kit bag, and so they've bought the bags. That's a $1,200 cost. That's a cost that they're going to cover. We don't need to cover that now. If we would have had to cover it, I don't know if we would have went and spent $1,200 on bags. We might have went with plastic bags as opposed to a nice canvas bag that's being passed out, right? So those are the types of things that some of the sponsorship we're getting. Instead of the $2,000, there you go do what you need to do. These are the things that we need. But to get this moving and to get things rolling, it takes dollars. And again, that's the important part of it. We do have our website up now, and registrations are starting to come in.
Good. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Frank?
If I could just mention a couple other things. Very briefly, the website, we've got some really neat people, Stan Jones and Jeremy Ross, working on our website, and our goal is to have the best website ever in this tournament, so that we have up-to-date, live games, so that people back home in Saskatchewan can follow their team and see what their players are doing. That's one of our goals. And two, we're looking at bringing in another honorary chair. We had Dwayne Ward be an honorary chair in '09, and we're looking at Bill Spaceman Lee. So that's a possibility that he could be honorary chairperson for the tournament. So hopefully those things will work out, but they cost.
Right. It all comes to depending on the amount of funding.
Plus, the other thing, Your Worship, is Stan Jones has actually came up with an idea at the last meeting we had that he actually thinks that he can do a tweet out
Play-by-play over Twitter.
play-by-play for the game over Twitter.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of good ideas, and I've got a good committee, and again, everything is coming together now, but we're to the point of where we need to start finalizing it and rolling out.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
Councillor Lanzo?
What's the website?
Website is www.cnobf2015.ca.
I just did a Google search for over 35 Yarmouth
You
baseball.
You
and
probably wouldn't pick that up
it's
on your
not there,
Google.
yeah, you really
but-
need to do some
Yeah.
with all those
We're-
technical people, they should do some optimization, because
Yeah,
if
what we're going to do is we have and I'm not sure if the link is on there yet, but with the the national website, the Canadian national website, we're going to have our link will be attached to that. Oh, it is on there? So it is on there. So if anybody goes in under the national website of the Canadian National Baseball Federation, or Canadian National Over 35 Baseball Federation, our link will be on there to take them to the website. Our website, there's still some work to do on the website. We do have it up enough that it does provide information, but that is going to be continuously providing information and being updated and getting things worked out. www.cnobf2015.ca. Yeah, Jeremy's doing the website, and Stan's going to be taking care of the stats.
Perfect.
So.
Good.
Yep.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, we're good to go. So there was only, I don't see Bay of Fundy, although I understand a lot of room nights sold because of that here in this area. And yeah, and they need us to as well. And the Curling Association too, so they just didn't. Yeah. Yeah, because Rick couldn't, yeah. No, and that's okay, because we know about the curling. Yeah.
No, she's
No, but Tracy was here. Tracy was great, yeah. So we got lunch. We're good for a half an hour or so. 12:40.